looks like a total fraud. Put him in the ring with somebody that can punch back. This is the Tank Protection Program. This has been going along for a long time, people.
Your favorite boxing professionals have revealed their predictions for the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight. It's interesting to see how many of them are now giving Lamont Roach the benefit of a doubt. Female heavyweight champion Claressa Shields, a sworn enemy of Gervonta Davis, surprisingly gave a very balanced prediction.
I mean, like, he's a bad man. He can fight, he's tough. I know we had our dispute back and forth, whatever, but at the end of the day, if we talk about just boxing.
Hey, absolutely. So
I don't know why everybody's kind of sleeping on Lamont, but he has a decorated amateur career too. He's a very sturdy kid. He's very skilled. Tank is Tank, and when I say Tank is Tank, I mean like he's a bad man. He can fight, he's tough. Of course, you don't expect Claressa Shields to forget their feud in a hurry. Hence, she added, I know we had our dispute back and forth or whatever, but at the end of the day, if we talk about just boxing, he's a good fighter, and I look forward to watching that fight.
And I look forward to watching that fight.
is this a pay-per-view fight though? Would you buy it? Are you gonna buy it?
I'll bought any fight that Tank has had pay-per-view. And I think that
When asked if it was worth a pay-per-view fight, and if she was going to buy the ticket, she answered, I've always bought any fight that Tank has had on pay-per-view, and I think that Lamont Roach is worth watching. I think that this fight is going to be very technical, very skillful, and as always, we're going to put the power of the Tank on display. Let the best man win this. On the other hand, Tim Bradley calls it a tank protection program. He said, this dude looks like a total fraud. Put him in the ring with someone that can punch back. This is the tank protection program. This has been going along for a long time, people. Bringing fighters up from slower weight class to get in there with Tank. Tank looks spectacular, but it's a cover-up.
Bringing fighters up from a lower weight class to get in there with Tank. Tank looks spectacular, but it's a cover-up. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think Tank is a good fighter. They're saying they don't have an opponent for him.
He added, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think Tank is a good fighter. They're saying that they don't have an opponent for him? Yes, you do. His name is De Los Santos, and the fans won't mind paying for a De Los Santos fight, but they're covering something. I don't know what it is. Is it the power of De Los Santos they're worried about? Tank was doing a whole lot of talking when Shakur Stevenson put everybody to sleep with De Los Santos, but he won't step his behind in the ring and face De Los Santos. He concluded, that's the fight that everybody wants to see. Nobody's going to pay for this pay-per-view with Lamont Roach. People are going to show up because it's Gervonta Davis, but those pay-per-view numbers you're chasing, it's going to be a wishing well.
Yes, you do. His name is De Los Santos, and the fans wouldn't mind paying for a De Los Santos fight, but they're covering something. I don't know what it is. Is it the power of De Los Santos?
Teofimo Lopez feels it's a mismatch, and he's less concerned about Lamont Roach's championship status.
You know what I'm saying? They're about to put him with a guy at 130 pounds. Whether he's a champion or not, you're getting a guy lighter than you to come up and weight to make you look good again.
I'm saying they're about to put him with a guy 130 pounds, whether he's a champion or not. You're getting a guy lighter than you come up and weight to make you look good. I'd dominate any of them.
Alright guys, turn on and face the crowd. Turn on and face the crowd now. Cameras in the back, guys. Hector, camera in the back. Camera all the way in the back.
This fight is shaping up to be a technical bout with a sensational undercard. Both of them are strong, and though Tank is an astoundingly heavy favorite, experts and boxers are still not counting out Lamont Roach completely. Ahead of the fight, Fight Hype sat down with Richardson Hitchens and Kenneth Sims Jr. to know their views regarding the fight, and their answers might surprise you. Fight Hype asked the undefeated super lightweight Hitchens about the history between him and the two fighters and what everyone can expect from their fight. The New York resident talked about the similarities between Tank and Roach and advised the fans to not take the latter lightly. Hitchens was sure that the 25, one boxer would stun everyone, and it would be a brilliant fight.
Years ago, I want to say like 2016, 2017 years ago. I think it's a great fight, you know, because this guy Lamont Roach.
Lamont came up in the same type of environment as Tank. They both got a lot of similarities. I think a lot of people are writing Lamont off because of loss against Jamel Herring, but he has shown consistency over the years, stated Hitchens, while talking about how Roach has turned his career around since the loss against Herring in 2019. The 18-0 boxer then promised the fight to be a technical feat and stated that he was even looking forward to the fight. While talking about who will have the upper hand in a technical fight, Richardson Hitchens stated, "It is going to be a great technical fight. Tank is a defensive genius. He knows how to protect himself and knows ways to maneuver."
He came up in that same type of like environment as Tank. You know, they both are DMV fighters. They both school kind of. They both got it.
He further stated that if the fight gets dragged to later rounds, Tank will have a clear advantage because of his near-perfect defense. According to Hitchens, Roach should try to finish the fight early because if it comes to the later rounds, there is a high chance that Davis will drag the fight to his pace to get the desired result. While defending Roach as a capable opponent for Gervonta Davis, Hitchens added, "It's not just like Tank is just picking out a bum. Lamont probably knows how to fight more than a lot of guys Tank fought."
Kind of like a lot of similarities. They both boxed each other numerous times. And I think that a lot of people riding Lamont off because of his one loss with Hearn.
On the other hand, the welterweight sensation Kenneth Sims Jr., who has fought against both Roach and Davis, also shared his views about the fight and stated what these fighters must do to win the match. At first, the boss man avoided trying to predict the fight. As he was on good terms with both of them, Sims felt it would be a bit disrespectful. However, he later gave in and spoke about how he and Roach shared some wholesome moments during their nationals when they faced each other in the semifinals.
It's definitely a fight that, like a great fight for boxing. I think that boxing fans are trying to, like, basically shut Lamont out. I don't know, maybe because he's not a big name.
But upon being asked what both of them have to do to win the fight, the Illinois resident mentioned how both Roach and Tank are counterpunchers. And to win the fight, one of them has to come out of their comfort zone to get the other one to open. He also touched upon the fact that Gervonta Davis is a slow starter, and it takes time for him to come into the groove. Tank starts slow, but as the fight goes, he is going to pick it up and then he get busy, stated Kenneth Sims Jr. But to win this fight, he will have to go on attacking quite earlier than usual. Otherwise, it might be too late, given how fast Roach boxes and picks up points early in the fight.
I'm looking forward to watching the fight.
Do you think the fact that it is going to be a technical fight, do you think that favors Lamont or does it favor Tank?
This was a surprising take, given how most have simply written off Lamont Roach in his lightweight title debut. However, when asked what his views on the Gervonta Davis, Lamont Roach fight were, promoter Hearn said that Roach is a good fighter and that the overall reaction to the fight was unfair. Following the announcement of the clash, scheduled for December 14th, many were surprised by the choice of Roach as Davis's opponent.
Announcement of the Gervonta Davis-Roach fight.
I think that, he's had a lot of criticism, but
Gervonta Tank Davis, with a perfect record of 30-0 with 28 KOs, is on a 21-fight streak of victories by knockout or technical knockout, barring his decision win against Isaac Pitbull Cruz. He last fought in June, knocking out Frank Martin in the 8th round, using his speed and power to outclass Martin. Meanwhile, Roach, a junior lightweight champion, is gaining weight to face Davis, one of boxing's most dominant knockout assassins.
You gotta look for him,
Mm-hmm.
If you switch it up now, it ain't gonna do too much. We don't have enough time to switch it up,
Some fans feel like Davis picked a weaker opponent to fight and maintain his perfect record because the fight lacks the excitement and competitiveness a matchup against another top lightweight contender could have offered. Hearn claims that Tank, the WBA lightweight champion, had no choice but to avoid these fighters for various reasons. Ryan Garcia is suspended, Shakur Stevenson is injured, Isaac Pitbull Cruz was recently beaten, Devin Haney, overcome Vasily Lomachenko, made the decision to miss the rest of 2024.
I won't be doing my phases for this one because we know the family,
Yeah.
That's things get.
Tank Davis has the option to fight Eden De Los Santos, Andy Cruz, Keyshawn Davis, and Raymond Muratalla, but none of them are as well known as Lamont Roach. There wouldn't be a spike in PPV purchases over Tank Davis's choice of Roach even if he had chosen one of them, and casual boxers wouldn't know who they are. I think the online reaction is a little bit unfair. Lamont Roach is a good fighter. The problem is, no one knows who he is, and with Tank's position in the sport, people want him in big fights, and it's not a big fight. If you know your boxing, you know it's a good fight. He's a super featherweight, but what were the available options for Tank, really? Hearn said in an interview with Fight Hub TV.
Not a bad fight, Lamont Roach is a world champion. He's smaller than Gervonta Davis. The problem is not many people are aware of who he is or his ability, but he can.
The outcry has been sparked by more than just the fact that nobody knows who Roach is, but boxing enthusiasts who are sure Roach is incapable. Although this is a difficult fight for Roach, 29, it is an opportunity for him to elevate his career as he will face one of boxing's biggest names. He is a skilled and crafty fighter with a strong chin, and if he can capitalize on Davis's tendency to start slow, there is a slim chance he could make the fight competitive and secure an early victory.
I see a nice competitive fight.
Nice competitive fight?
Yeah. He's not going to fight.
While Davis remains a massive draw in boxing, the fight has left some fans underwhelmed, hoping for a more marquee matchup against top contenders in his weight class. But boxing is a game of shockers, isn't it? In an extended discussion about the near finality of Davis Roach, ProBox TV's Paulie Malignaggi said Tuesday that the fight represents an opportunity for Roach to build his name recognition and explore a restricted path to victory against the bigger knockout artist Davis. Roach has been a solid fighter, but he hasn't been at the level of notoriety to be in a fight like this. I don't think this is a fight that should go on pay-per-view, said Malignaggi, a former welterweight champion. If Roach had been a bona fide champion who's made 5-6 title defenses, instead, Malignaggi said, the bout represents a cement your brand kind of thing. Keep Davis winning so he can look like a winner, but people want to see more. That's not all Davis's fault. The 29-year-old expressed willingness to fight veteran 3-division champion Lomachenko, only to see the Ukrainian announce he wanted to be with his family as his war-torn country confronts its war with Russia this year. Zepeda and Davis are now fighting on separate cards in November. The fight itself is a hard pill to swallow, Algieri said on Tuesday's edition of ProBox TV's Top Stories. Malignaggi elaborated, when you look at the lightweight division from a boxing perspective, why pull up a guy from other weight classes when there are fresh young lightweights and lots of viable fights for Davis? Malignaggi praises Roach as a crafty little veteran. It's a springboard for pro box. Roach has shown a solid chin. If he can bring those skill sets, he can be a problem. Algieri said if Roach can stack up early rounds on the scorecards because Davis usually starts slow and puts all his eggs in the basket that he'll score a knockout. Roach could out-hustle, out-finesse Davis and survive late. Yes, it's possible we can see an upset. That moved Malignaggi. If Roach wins, it'd be the upset of the year. Is that what we want on pay-per-view? He asked. This is not a trash fight. Lamont is smaller and lacks the firepower of Gervonta Davis. Algieri too expects Davis to wear down Roach because his physical and mental pressure will be too stressful for the junior lightweight fighter. Artur Beterbiev inserted himself into the conversation of all-time boxing greats when he defeated Dimitri Bivol in Riyadh to become the first undisputed light heavyweight champion of the four-belt era. After scripting history last weekend, Beterbiev and his team have constantly been in the media's limelight. Last week, one of Beterbiev's coaches, John Scully, unknowingly started a beef with none other than Gervonta Davis when he bluntly stated that Tank is not in the Boxing Hall of Fame yet.
I want to say he's kind of like a defensive, genius. Like he know how to protect himself and he know ways to maneuver and to slow down the pace and different angles. I think that fight will probably favor Tank because Tank have God-given speed and reflexes. So.
Former fighter turned trainer John Scully was recently asked on the 10-8 podcast if Davis would make it into the International Boxing Hall of Fame should he hang up the gloves today. Iceman said that the current WBA lightweight world champion, whose most impressive wins came over Leo Santa Cruz and Ryan Garcia, didn't deserve it. According to Scully, the Boxing Hall of Fame should be reserved for all-time boxing greats like Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali. Scully added, no, I mean probably in this era and the way they do things, but for me, the Hall of Fame has always been the elite of the elites. I don't want any names, but there are guys in the Hoff that absolutely, positively, there's no way on earth they should be in the Hall of Fame, zero, while being asked if Tank deserves a place in the Hoff if he were to retire today.
He's supposed to fight, apparently, Lamont Roach at 130. And I think a lot of people are upset about that. Like, he's not fighting any of the champions.
While Iceman Scully might have been right, Davis saw this as disrespect and decided to launch a scathing retort on Artur Beterbiev and his camp online. However, the response backfired on him brutally. The 29-year-old from Baltimore is well known for his unwavering confidence, backed up by a fighting style that's one of the most watchable in the sport and has produced 28 knockouts from 30 fights. It's widely accepted that Tank has the skill set and power to be considered one of the best boxers in the world, but some believe he is yet to consistently show his true potential against other top fighters.
He's not unified. And people still have him as a top pound fighter. If Gervonta Davis would have retired today, would he be considered a Hall of Famer in your eyes?
The 30-0 boxer took 2X and stated that even the undisputed light heavyweight champion is not worthy of that Hall of Fame. Tank Davis caught wind of the opinion and responded via X, appearing to discredit the achievements of Scully's current star, Artur Beterbiev, who this month became the first undisputed light heavyweight champion in over 2 decades with a win over Dmitry Bivol. According to Davis, Beterbiev is not a good boxer and currently is nowhere near the level that he possesses.
Nah. And you know what? Because, I mean, probably in this era and the way they do things.
He wrote, "That big, strong bum Goofy that he trains is not a Hall of Fame fighter, and he's a bum." The post, which was quickly deleted in the usual Gervonta Davis fashion, made its way to Michael Benson, who shared the screen grab on his account. While Beterbiev might not be at the Hall of Fame level yet, he is certainly not as bad as Davis made him out to be. In reality, he is currently one of the best active boxers, and certainly holds more accolades than Tank himself. This reply backfired on the Baltimore native, as the fans quickly let him know where Artur Beterbiev stands in comparison to Gervonta Davis. One fan termed the reply by the WBA lightweight champion as rather nonsensical, as Beterbiev has achieved far more accolades in his career than Tank. He wrote, "Weak comeback by Tank. Beterbiev should be on his way to the Hall of Fame, but at the bare minimum, he's certainly a lot closer than Tank," stating that 1 or 2 more career-defining victories will allow the Russian boxer in that Hall of Fame.
Probably, but for me, the Hall of Fame has always been the elite of the elites. You know what I mean? You're talking Sugar Ray Robinson.
Another fan mocked the habit of Tank for constantly getting into online beef with almost every boxer. He wrote, "Soft bum guy feelings hurt again," questioning Davis's inability to accept criticism. Recently, Davis also got into an online spat with Lamont Roach Jr. Another fan wrote, "He'd disintegrate you, little man, please be careful," acknowledging the power of the undisputed light heavyweight champion. Artur Beterbiev is one of the scariest boxers currently, and before facing Bivol had won every single match via knockout. Currently, in Ring Magazine's pound-for-pound list, Beterbiev ranks number 4th. Meanwhile, in comparison, Tank is still at 7th.
Talking Henry Armstrong, Joe Louis, talking Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali. Again, I don't want to say any names, but there are.
Another fan who agreed with Scully wrote, "He didn't lie. You don't get into the Hall of Fame with fighting cab drivers and tomato cans. He'd make the cherry-picking Hall of Shame, though," while questioning the matchmaking for Davis's matches. Tank has always had to face criticism over the opponents he chooses, and there is a persistent argument that he intentionally chooses easier opponents. Even his upcoming fight against Roach was heavily criticized when Tank overlooked other title holders for a unification bout and instead chose an opponent from a lower division.
Our guys in the Hall of Fame, absolutely, positively, there's no way on earth they should be in the Hall of Fame. Zero. And
that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.